Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport for what is another practice session here tonight. Ready for all people to still choose the car and teammates if they don't have one at the moment. Be an interesting watch to find out. Also, we can confirm that Gary Leach, I do believe, is testing his new car tonight for Leach Motorsport with the little Leach. We do believe they have one in mind. So we'll have to wait and see on what that could be and as to what their car of choice is. Currently we have 6 drivers in the server, and we'll get back. Hopefully we'll have a few more join the server in the session as we go on throughout the evening. Hope everybody's well and hope everybody's had a fantastic day at work or at school, wherever you've been. As we get ready to start off, we're going to do the next 3 tracks on the calendar tonight to let the drivers get a feel for the cars that will be on the calendar with the weather conditions that will be there as well. So we're first at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix circuit. I don't know if I pronounced that second bit right, so apologies if I murder any pronunciations tonight. So 6 guys in the session so far. We've got the Pro Group Keegs in his Mercedes. We've got Cam in the Pro-Am category in his Lamborghini, with Stealth Sloth also in his Lamborghini from the Pro-Am class. Deeks in the Pro-Am category, a guy that hasn't chose the car yet. Kind of has one in mind, he said to me earlier today, but hasn't chose a car yet. Big Boy Brazier, many favourites for the Pro-Am title. He's also in his Gardex Lamborghini, with Welshie still currently sat in the pits in his brightly coloured Lamborghini with green trim. Can confirm MC Motorsport both here, and so is Team Gusset and Trusset, which is Big Boy Brazier and Cameron. Going to be some fascinating points here tonight, looking at them come over the top of El Rouge and through Radion. So it'll be good to see what people can get from this and what people can take from the night as well. As you see, Cam just messing up into the chicane off the straight. Looks like he can get it sorted. Oh, there's Deeks looking a bit wild on the loud pedal as well. So like I say, we are expecting a few more numbers tonight. Hopefully to get them numbers up, we can sort of see where people are going to be roughly. There's a lot of Pro-Am guys here tonight, so we could see a lot of Pro-Am drivers showing their potential. As we see them, who's that there? That's Deeks, Cam and Keegs in the background. The only Mercedes on drive on the grid are. And as we see Leach Motorsport turning up in the Audi. I had a guess last night that they'd be in the Audi, and look at that, they've turned up in it. So is that the car of their choice? Gary getting out on track, as is Little Leach. What's the difference in the liveries? Gary has yellow on the wing mirrors and Little Leach has red. So many guessed last night at an event these two was racing at. I was on with them last night and we guessed at a few cars, did me and Keegs, and it turns out I think I was right. If this is the car of their choice, as Gary loses the rear coming out the pit lane. Little Leach takes it a bit more cautious and a bit easy. Evening to Michael Matthews in the chat. I think Michael Matthews will be with us tomorrow night in practice. Monkey Boy, evening to you as well. I think we'll catch Monkey Boy tomorrow night. So evening to Monkey Boy as well, as we see Little Leach coming through the final set. And as Keegs is about to start his laps, let's just jump on board with Keegs then. the youngest driver in the league, I do believe, 14 years of age, as he comes down towards the first corner. Very tight right-handed gear 1. Round he goes. So we're up to 8 drivers now on circuit. Do believe we are still waiting for a few others as we await them to join. Monkey Boy says he will be there tomorrow. That's what we want to see. So more pro drivers turning up on the night for the pros, and more pro-ams on the night for the pro-am. Oh, as Keegs loses it coming off the straight and into the chicane. Struggling to get Mercedes going. You might need to go backwards, Keegs, to go forwards, mate. There we go. As Stealth Sloth is coming out the pits. Where's Welshie then? He's just down at turn 1. Little Leach and Gary coming around the back of the circuit. That was Big Boy Brazier around the back of the circuit as well. Looks like he could be the first one to set a proper lap time here. So let's have a look and see what sort of lap time he can do. Sorry, I'm back. Sorry about it. So as we see, the rain is falling now. We've only had 5 minutes of dry weather here, and the rain is already starting to fall. So an indication of the weather to come. And you can clearly see that this is going to impact the drivers. So people with times in like Big Boy Brazier, Deeks, Cam and Welsh at the moment all look like they're going to be doing lap times. It's not too wet yet, and it is only light rain. It is meant to get better though as it goes on, so keep an eye out for the weather changes which is in this season while all this is happening. Still no time for Little Leach and Gary, so we may not see the best times from Little Leach. Gary Keegs has done a 3 minutes, we might not see the best lap time from him neither, or Stealth Sloth. What we may see though is their times improve when the rain stops, if it stops. As Welsh is going to cross the line now, and does he improve? And he does so, and he goes up into P2. So a good little lap time there from Welshie. Where's Deeks on track? He's coming about halfway through, near enough through his lap. Big Boy Brazier as well, he's quite away. No, he's going to the back end of his lap. So don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already and would like to, please hit that subscribe button. Also, give the video a big thumbs up. If you would like to follow the Facebook page where you can keep up to date, as we see Big Boy Brazier going a 10th quick there. We see Gary has set a lap time, he's currently 5 seconds off the pace. So Little Leach and Stealth Sloth haven't set a times. In fact, the Stealth Sloth is coming into the pit lane. Yeah, if you'd like to follow the Facebook page and haven't done so already, click the link in the description. Also, there is a link there if for anybody, any participants who would like to join the group and request to join the season. There is plenty of spaces available. Don't hesitate to click the link underneath that one, the second link in the description. That will take you to the Facebook group where you can join and be a part of SimPlay's racing and be a part of all the action here with everybody. as we go through what is going to be a fantastic 10 race calendar, as we see Little Leach not pitting, and the track's obviously getting a bit wet here as he loses it through Eau Rouge. Who else is in the pits? Deeks is coming to the pits. Cam's doing a pit stop. Stealth Sloth looks like he's finished a pit stop, so hopefully he's got himself on the wet tyres. Big Boy Brazy looks like he's struggling coming off the straight and through the chicane. Yeah, look at him really struggling now. Here's Welshie, a man that's getting better and better, and looks like he could challenge Big Boy Brazier in that Pro-Am category. Little Leach we see struggling as well. Keegs in the Mercedes. His teammates want to tip. I tell you now, Mazda's want to tip for the Pro Group with Gary Leach, Sooty Apex, and I'm going to say Little Leach as well. I think they're ones for the Pro League. Keep your eyes on Keegs though, as well as Kieran Argent, Dean Wasocki, Monkey Boy and Peaceful Explosion. They're the guys that can hurt you in terms of your championship battle. Their battle's going to be interesting on track as well. Keegs very slow through the final chicane, with no doubt he's going to come in for a set of wet tyres, it looks like, and he does so. So who have we got in the pits? Oh, apologies this. We've got Welshie sat in the pit box, so is Deeks. Cam is coming out the pit lane now, as is Little Leach, and Keegs is just about to box, so let's see what these guys can do. Gary looks like he's tiptoeing round a little bit. Looks like he's struggling on them dries. Where's Big Boy Brazier? Coming around to sector 2 through the chicane here before the fastback part of the circuit. First person I think put wet tyres on was Stealth Sloth, so let's just keep an eye on Stealth Sloth as the rain still comes down and the track gets wetter. Looks like he's handling it nice and easy so far through the first bit. So interesting to see what Stealth Sloth's sort of lap times are going to be, as people are coming out the pits now. It'll be interesting to catch up with what sort of times he's doing compared to everybody else as they're coming out on the wet tyres. As we see him braking into the final part of the corner, coming out towards the bus stop chicane. Got someone just in front of him that I assume will dive into the pits. Oh, and Stealth Sloth slow at the chicane. I wonder what's happened there, as uncharacteristically he's into the wall. Not sure what's happened. Keegs is now on track. Like I say, Keegs, the youngest lad on track. Just a shout out to Keegs from last week, finishing third in his 3 heats and then fourth in the grand final in his go-karting last weekend. So well done to you, Keegs. Keep up the good work and hopefully that win will come soon. Very nice and gentle on the throttle is Keegs here. Received word from Dean Wasocki that he's just sorting the kids out and then he should be on as well, so that'll be another car on track to get on track to make it a bit more full, but not just that, as well as make it a bit more interesting in terms of, I do believe he's confirmed that he is racing the Acura with Monkey Boy. If Monkey Boy's still in the chat, hopefully he can confirm that for us. But we see Keegs here, he's up on his time at the moment, didn't set the best time in the dry tyres. And now could be up on his time in the wet, so we'll get to see his pace with it being his best time so far. Let's just go on board his cockpit view. What's the weather like out there so far? Does seem to be very, very wet and slippy, as he's made a mistake at the chicane. Rejoins as he cuts it, so probably not gained a lot of time there. Probably still will be up on his time. He was 8 seconds up on his Delta. He goes 16 seconds quicker. We know Keegs is quicker than that anyway on the dry tyres, but got to get the dry tyres on. I do believe Deeks is now coming out the pits. Is that the car that's next to him? Yeah, it's Deeks just coming back out the pits. Since we've got all 8 cars on track, see a bit of a queue here behind Big Boy Brazier. I say queue, it's not much. With Little Leach just sat behind him, and then Cam behind Little Leach. So two teammates sandwiching Little Leach at the moment. Can Little Leach improve on his time? In the wet, I'm not so sure. In the dry, maybe, although I don't think that's a respectable time from Little Leach. We know he's a lot quicker than that. We know Keegs is a lot quicker than that as well, and the Stelfsloff, to be fair. Cam's also quicker than the time he's done, so we'll have to see if these guys can improve as they come through the final couple of tight corners before it's flat out until the chicane at the very end. Oh, Little Leach getting the rear step taxi. Jamie Brazier on the grass just in front. Cam as well, he's also gone into the gravel. Oh, and rejoins as he's spinning in front of Welshie. And if Cam's not got a reset button, he's unfortunately going to have to return to the pits there with that one. I don't think anything Welshie can do. Hopefully there's not too much damage to Welshie's car. Cam's struggling at the minute. He's had to go back to the pits yet. Stelfsloff has improved on his time. He's gone up into P5 with his lap time at the minute. Still 16 seconds off the pace as the rain looks like it's easing slightly. So let's see the track evolution in the final 15 minutes. Let's just look at the car go up. Eau Rouge sticking to the curb and over the top of Radion, just slightly wide on exit from the Stelfsloff there. So yeah, the rain is stopping. Let's just go on board his cockpit view and see. Yeah, not much rain hitting the windscreen there, so the rain is slowing down. As there is a spinner just in front. Who is that? Well, there's Little Leach and Welshie. There's Keegs. Oh, it's Gary. So Gary seeming to be struggling at the moment then. Bit of a spin coming through the chicane maybe. Welshie's had to pit. His damage is too bad. The cameraman struggling to pick Gary up. There we go. So the damage too bad for Gary, for Welshie. So he's had to pit unfortunately there. Gary seeming to be struggling on the tyres he's on at the moment as the rain has stopped then. As Keegs has just put one into P5. So good luck from Keegs. He's gone 8 seconds quicker. Gets it turned into the first chicane. It's currently Big Boy Brazy who leads the way 4 seconds, near enough 5 seconds should I say, ahead of Welshie. Oh, as Deeks and Keegs both get the back end lit up coming through there. Keegs going slow, so let's jump on board with Deeks. He let Deeks through in fact. So let's see Deeks' Lamborghini come up of Eau Rouge. A lot of spray about, but you can also see where the track is starting to dry now the rain has stopped. Beautifully done through there from Deeks. No spray at all until they sort of get straightened up at the top of Radion. Beautifully executed there by Deeks. So lovely car control through Eau Rouge. A very tricky corner in its own right. And Deeks looked like he had that one nailed on. 1.1 down on his best lap time, but that's only to be expected when it is a wet track like this and all over the curbs, and probably just puts his foot down a bit too much. Loses the rear but rejoins now. We pick Welshie up coming back out the pit, so he'll be on an out lap here. There's Big Boy Brazier. What's he going to do in this session? Led 2 of 3 sessions, I do believe, last Thursday I think he was on. Managed to lead 2 of the 3 sessions. I think the only one he didn't lead was the Nürburgring. I think Monkey Boy took the spoils at the Nürburgring last Thursday night. Big Boy Brazier obviously racing on a Wednesday with the Pro-Am lads. So let's see what he's capable of. Looking dry through this back part of the circuit, I must admit that. Somebody's slow at the chicane, not quite sure who that is. Don't know if we can pick him up as Big Boy Brazier comes through the chicane. Will we pick him up down the straight? See, it's starting to dry a bit slowly, but it is getting drier. The spray still there, but not as much. I do believe it was, oh, it looks like one of the Audis. So is that Little Leach? No, it must have been Gary again. So Gary still having struggles in that Audi in the wet. Still can't quite get to grips with the car, but it is a test session for him, so let's see how he handles it as Big Boy Brazier still leads Welshie by 4.9 seconds with Gary in third, 5.7 off the pace. You see no spray at the top of Radion, and as they start to come down the straight the spray picks up. Deeks is sitting P4. We've not seen many improvements from him recently neither. Keegs then still on a slower lap. He may be on a quicker lap here as he comes to the end. He's either going to need to move out the way. He's coming into the box. Stelfsloff then, he's improved from last on the grid. Let's see what he can do. Cam coming down towards the chicane. You see the spray stopped halfway down the chicane, so is it time for dries? I think it is a bit too wet still at the moment. and Little Leach just behind him. You see the spray stop here and then pick up again in towards the braking zone. So interesting to see that it is drying as we see Little Leach 8/10 up on his time. Let's stick with Little Leach and see if he can improve any. And no, probably just a bit too much curb while they're still wet. He's lost the rear again. Is Cam up on his time? We've got a car going through sector 2. Who's in the pits? Deeks and Keegs sat in the pits. Deeks is coming back out. Big boy Brazier is heading down towards sector 2 now. So is that Gary? No, Gary's behind. Look at it, it's bone dry through there. No spray at all until you pick him up here towards the braking zone. But it is drying, so it is getting drier out there. And for these guys, they're going to want to make sure that they're not on the wets burning them up for too long. They'll want to be on the dries sooner rather than later, as Gary has had a spin and the cameraman picks him up there. Welshie looking good so far. Let's pick up big boy Brazier again. Is Keeg still in the pit lane so far then? Oh, Brazier just a bit wide going through that corner there. So we see Gary and Little Leach choosing, is the Audi their choice? Is it just testing? Because at the moment they still seem a bit twitchy. And big boy Brazier is going to come down the start-finish line now. Don't think he'll be up on his time. I still think it's too wet. Yep, 7 seconds off of his best time so far. As we pick up, there is a car just in front of Gary. Is that the Stealth Sloth? No, he's just gone into the pits. It's Cam, so let's see if Cam can improve on his time. Cam crossing the line now. No improvement from him. We see Gary in the background round again. So is he struggling in this Audi? Seems to not be able to get to grips with it at all at the moment. Little Leach is coming through the final chicane. He was all twitchy there as well. So the two Audi drivers not looking so comfortable at the moment. Little Leach crosses the line and ends up 8 seconds down on his time. Cam coming up Eau Rouge. Brilliant corner. Probably cuts out a bit too much. If you won't want to be doing that on race night, that will be a steward's inquiry, no doubt. Stealth Sloth's coming out the pits and Keegs is still sat in the garage. While we're here with 9 minutes remaining, let's just look at the lap times. Big boy Brazy, you see, setting the laps at the moment with 7 laps done so far. As to Welshie, Gary, Stealth Sloth, Cam and Little Leach all on 6, with Deeks and Keegs on 5. Oh, excuse me. So not many improvements at the minute, but this is a time where the track evolution is important. Oh, Keegs is having his tea, that's why he's in the pits. You having anything nice, Keegs? See big boy Brazier just kind of tiptoeing around these parts. Still a bit of spray there towards the curbs, but look at it, the line in general is very, very dry and looks absolutely brilliant. Looks like it is time to get slicks on maybe. Keegs is just having a casual curry. What's a casual curry when it's at home then? Because, you know, is it a tikka masala, a jalfrezi, a vindaloo, korma? Got poppadoms with it, bit of naan, some barges. So we see big boy Brazier coming through the final chicane and going into the pits. Now, is this a change for slicks? That'll be interesting. See Gary and Little Leach on track then. Gary looks like he's got big damage to the back of his car. Indeed he has. He's got no rear spoiler and spins in front of his teammate. And Leach Motorsport are dancing with each other door to door on the track at the moment. It's a Chinese thing, he doesn't know. So it's not a proper curry then, because a proper curry is Indian. Just a Chinese curry. But yeah, Little Leach and Gary, the Leach Motorsport boys, dancing with each other on the track door to door. Good synchronised dancing that was. Where's Welshie on track? Let's try and pick him up. Just gone through sector 2 and he's currently 9 seconds down on his time. Still a bit wet through this final part of the track here. You see where the dry line is, but offline still a bit wet. Maybe something he's got to try and watch. Oh, it's homemade. Ah, fair enough then, Keegs. Just your casual Chinese homemade curry. As Welsh makes a good move there on Gary. Gary could do nothing about that. I know he's got damage, but what a send it from Welsh there. Seeing a lot of drivers in the pits. We know Gary's just come in. Stealth Sloth's also coming in. Keeks out having his tea, and Little Leach is in the garage. Big Boy Brazier's been in the pits. Now is Big Boy Brazier on the dry tyre? If that's the case, let's try and keep an eye out for his lap time. Not this one. We'll let him get round and then we'll catch him back up. Welsh, we know, has just started another lap. Deeks as well's on a lap. Bit wide there from Deeks. Oh, and as he gets back on the track, he's wide and spins and spins and spins. Oh, I nearly said beautiful car control because I thought he was going to get out back then, but may have a bit too much front end damage. Cam also pirouetting. Don't know if this is a practice session or a ballet recital. Big Boy Brazier, I think, is gaining on the back of Cam. Here he is, as Cam still twirling on the track. Big Boy Brazier seems to be managing alright at the moment, and the track looks bone dry in the final 5 minutes. And down the straight he goes. Gary is coming out the pits now. Keegs the only man then still in the pits. Different to the Clio, says Gary. Oh, a lot different to the Clio. How is the Audi, mate? I might get you in for a chat in a bit, see how the Audi is. But here's Big Boy Brazier still. And where's Welshie on track? Picking him up here just after the chicane. Comes down to the hairpin. Right-hander. Round he goes there. Deke's still going, so damage obviously not affecting that car that much at the moment. Stealth Sloth, he's also on dry tyres. Let's keep our eyes out for him. Still a bit of spray there down this straight before El Rouge. Doesn't seem to be affecting Little Leach. And then up El Rouge we go. And again, no spray at all. And you hear a big lift there from Little Leach. Is he on the slicks and still just trying to get them up to temperature? Cam then. Not looking so quick. In fact, he's going to dart into the pits, and that is Big Boy Brazier, who's going to come around now to start his first timed lap on the dry tyres. Big puddle on the left-hand part of that chicane. That'll cool down the tyres. No end hitting that puddle. He seemed to do alright on exit. So let's see if he's on the dries. Let's see if his time's anywhere near his 2 minutes 22 that he's done so far. Oh, and he's round on the exit to turn 1, so that's not going to help at all. Is it still just a bit too damp? As we see Welshie on the grass. I'm not convinced it is too wet. I think if you can get it right and be easy on the throttle, I think the dries are the quicker tyre to be on. Let's see Welshie end his lap. See how good of a lap he's had here. See if he can improve on the 5 seconds he's behind. And as I say that, he crawls into the pits. So a pit stop for Welshie. Deke's also back in the pits, as is Keegs and Cam making a pit stop. Welshie's coming in to do his pit stop. Gary's out on track. Is he on the dries? Stealth Sloth, is he on the slicks? And Little Leach as well. Who is he coming towards sector 2? And now around onto the quickest, one of the quicker parts of the track. He's currently 1 minute 49 down on his time. That's because he pitted last lap for the dry tyre. There's Deeks just coming back out the pit lane. As Stealth Sloth coming round then on a lap now on the dries. Cam is also back out on track as well. So let's see what these two can do here on the dries. Flash of the lights there from Stealth Sloth, just letting Deeks know he's on a quicker lap than him. Could use the toe though all the way down to the chicane. Stealth Sloth turns the lights on. He is 2 seconds up on his time here. As Deeks loses it towards into the chicane then. And for Stealth Sloth, really pushing this car here. Just check the lap times one more. Yeah, you see Big Boy Brazier out on 9. Everybody else on 8 other than Keegs. So good timings here from Big Boy Brazier. Good to get the laps in for everybody here. Half an hour session. 9 laps. Spa's going to be one of the longer races on the calendar. Just find out how many laps that is. Yeah, Spa being a 14 lap race, I think it's the shortest race on the calendar. It is by just 1 or 2 laps. But one of the longer sessions on the calendar then. Cam up on his time. We saw Jamie Brazier had spun at turn 1, so he's obviously not going to be improving any here. But for Welshie, no, that's Welshie we're on board with, sorry. We needed to be on board the Stealth Sloth. He was the one who was setting the pace early on. Up on his time by 2 seconds. Let's hope he can gain a bit more to pull back from the 11 seconds he's off for Big Boy Brazier as he comes round the final part of the track. Absolutely beautiful round there from the Stealth Sloth. Now I hope I haven't jinxed him, because everybody I've said that drives beautifully ends up spinning off or crashing. So let's just hope that I've not jinxed him. You see the puddle on the inside of the left-hander as he goes through that. Keeps the car nice and under control. It's that slow through there. I don't think the puddle really affects you too badly. And down the start line he comes to cross the line. And he goes 6.1 seconds quicker, puts himself into P4. Currently 5.8 off of the pace. Where's Gary Leach on track? Is this still his outlap? I do believe that's still Gary's outlap. It's not Welsh's though. No, actually I think it is Chris's as well. I think Welshie is also on an outlap. We'll see as he crosses the line what if he's up or down, how much by. Yeah, down by 10 seconds. That was clearly a lap after a pit stop. Here's Big Boy Brazier coming towards Sector 2. He's definitely on a time lap and the track is getting drier. So for Big Boy Brazier, lads just starting a lap now that have gone round turn 1 you see on the track map or on the final lap. Whoever that is crossing the line may just get a final lap in. Looks like he has just. So everybody on the final laps here then. Keegs won't get another lap in, unfortunately for him, so he could end up last in the practice times here. But let's see everybody. So Jamie Brazier will be the first car then to finish his lap. As he's about to cross the line after coming through the final chicane. Keegs is sleeting his tea, he says, and Big Boy Brazier crosses the line. No improvement, I don't think, there for him. Who's the next car on track? It is the Stealth Sloth. So let's see out the Stealth Sloth then what he can do. He's currently up on his Delta. Looks quick through this final part of the track. Lamborghini probably the quickest car on track so far tonight. The Audi not far behind it, neither is the Mercedes. But here comes the Stealth Sloth. Hard on the brakes towards the bus stop chicane. Try not to take much that puddle, and he does it well there. Keeps the rear of the car. Doesn't get the power down too early, and he's going to cross the line. Does he stay up on his time? He does, yeah. I think a slight improvement there from Stealth Sloth. So who's next to cross? It will be Welshie. So let's see if Welshie can cross the line and improve 4.9 seconds off the pace as Gary and Stealth Sloth have gone above him. Can Welshie set any more? Oh, he's a bit wider at the exit to the first part of the chicane. He'd have liked to see Deeks in the background spun round. Keegs is coming back now, so he'll be ready for practice for the second track. And across the line goes Welshie. No big improvement from him. We saw Deeks have a spin in the background, so no improvement from him neither. That is Gary who's about to cross the line. What can he do in his Audi? No improvement from him. Little Leach coming through the final chicane. Oh, just running a bit wide over the curb, more than he'd have wanted to. I believe Cam has span or stopped. Little Leach, no improvement from him yet. We've got Cam who's a spinner. So that rounds that up. Big Boy Brazier taking the checkered flag 3 seconds quicker than the other guys. It will be a 3-lap race to just participate in. Let's just check the speedo on Cam's car. No, still plenty of fuel in there. Just not there at the moment. So Big Boy Brazier setting the early pace from Gary. And Stealth Sloth finishing out the top 3 in the first practice session, with Welshie, Little Leach, Deeks, Keegs and Cam Jamie Brazier said last lap it's now absolutely bone dry. So just a 3-lap race here, and it's the Chinese curry eating young gun on the grid, Keegs, who's going to start on pole alongside Welshini. So watch that could be fireworks down into turn 1. It's a completely random grid. The race doesn't stand for anything. Deeks will start 3rd with Brazier 4th, Cam 5th, Stelsloff 6th, and back of the grid is the 2 Audis. Now let's watch for the 2 Welsh boys at the beginning, see what can happen. Into tier 1, Keegs has got a demon start, and if you ask me, he's potentially jumped that. So Keegs away well, and Big Boy Brazier's got a fantastic start as well. He's currently sitting 2nd on track. Deeks has got himself up to 3rd, with Gary coming from the back of the grid, now sitting P4. Cam's in 5th, who cuts the top of El Rouge. A bit naughty that from Cam, can't be doing that one in the race, gonna have to lift. Little Leach sits 6th at the minute, with Stelsloff 7th. I'm not sure what happened to Welshie. Oh, when Stelsloff and Little Leach have came together and are on the grass, so hopefully not too much damage for them 2 boys. Stelsloff looks like he's struggling to turn. Not sure what happened to Welshie at the start, but did not get away. Keegs leads from Big Boy Brazier, who's got Gary just behind, who looks like he's recovering from a spin or something. Cam sits 4th. Where's Deeks? Deeks has had a moment as well. He's dropped down to 7th, just behind the Stelsloff. So not sure what happened there to Gary then, but he's dropped off the back of Big Boy Brazier and Keegs, who's all over the back of Keegs. Here is Brazier. And Keegs just looked like he didn't get the run there. I don't know what Brazier has had for his breakfast, but he must have had his Weetabix, because flew past Keegs. Like Keegs was going backwards. Probably the extra carried weight from his curry. That's not going to help him at all. But can he get now on the back of Jamie Brazier? Can Gary get on the back of these 2 as well and get something done? It's a very short race on such a long track, so there is time to still make things up here. Jamie Brazier, Big Boy Brazier, sorry, just to let you know, races on the pad, which is very quick for a pad man. We could be likely to see him get into the pro group for next season, no doubt. Or for the next GT3 season, should I say, no doubt. I do believe the second race. And look at that, a sooty send it manoeuvre from Keegs, but has completely got it wrong and has to cut the final chicane. So he'll have to give the place back to Jamie Brazier there. We know track limits aren't on, but he'll have to give the place back, and he does so. Well done, Keegs. But a sooty send it move that just didn't happen, and now does he look to do one into turn 1? No, we know the Mercedes is a bit better on the brakes than the Lamborghini, but Keegs got that all horribly wrong at the final part. Gary's in the pits, not sure what for. Stelsloff is also in the pits, as his teammate Welshie. So Deeks has picked up 6th place. Did Gary have a jump start? Yeah, Gary's doing a drive-through penalty, so I think Gary must have had a jump start then. So not what you want on a little 3-lap race. Deeks has made a mistake at turn 1. Keegs still on the back of Big Boy Brazier. Then we'll have the toe down the big long straight. Little Eat should be in Cam's toe as well. Currently for Gussit and Trussit Racing Team, they sit 1st and 3rd. Oh, Keegs has made a mistake again, just trying to be a bit later on the brakes. Can't get the move done and has made another mistake. Has dropped right off the back of Jamie Brazier now. Let's go to Little Leach, see if he's on the back of Cam. Not really. Cam's still keeping the gap as the cameraman now picks them up. All about the practice sessions. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel and are watching for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a big thumbs up. Also, links in the description, one to the Facebook page. That's where you'll find all the information about races if you just wanted to be a fan, a spectator. If you wanted to join and get in on the action, don't hesitate to click the second link in the description, where you'll be able to be added to the group and we can take it from there. Anything else, just add me, Matahimovic, on the PlayStation and we can sort that out. No problem for you. Just practice sessions at the moment while we find teammates for everybody and wait for people to pick cars, teammates, team names, liveries. It's a tough process this. We see Cam still 0.7 of a second in front of Little Leach. Little Leach not really gaining on the back of him like he'll probably want to, or hope to, should I say. Maybe looking for the second lap or second or third lap to really get the attack mounting. You hear Keegs just in front, you hear that purr of the Mercedes. As Cam very wide out the chicane, and that's gave Little Leach the run he wants. But the Lamborghini good in a straight line. The Audi should keep it with him and should keep holding his position and fighting back. Cam squeezing Little Leach, bit naughty that. Little Leach was there and Cam squeezed him. Runs a bit wide at turn 1, and now Little Leach will sail through with ease. We've lost a driver. Stealth Sloth has retired from the race, so unfortunate for him there. Clearly feels that he can't get anything out of this race, so may as well just wait for the second try. There's Cam cutting the top of El Rouge and really getting on the back of Little Leach with the slipstream. Keegs hasn't managed to catch up to the back of Big Boy Brazier, and Cam pulls out now, looking to make the move on Little Leach. Little Leach very respectful and gives him plenty of room. Oh, and tries to keep it there, but lights up the rears and spins round. Where's teammate Gary? He's coming into the chicane now. Will he catch teammate slash brother Little Leach? There you see Little Leach gets going as we're on board with Gary. You see his dashboard all lit up, or his steering wheel all lit up as well, should I say. Got his lights on. He means business, does Gary Leach. He's no slouch to racing. Loves his cricket as well. Yeah, really gaining on Little Leach after Little Leach has spun. Back with Deeks then, currently running in P6. Away last week was Deeks, away on holiday, the fellow admin. Back this week now though, no Kieran Argent for the next couple of weeks. He's away on holiday and then back just before the season starts. What about Welsh? He's just come through Erosion on the straight after repairing his damage. More than likely, so Big Boy Brazier as well as extended his lead out front to 6 seconds. He's really on the money, is Big Boy Brazier. Watch out for him in the Pro-Am group because he is going to be good. There's Keegs, you see the 86 Mobile, the Team Iron Brew car. Currently 6.5 seconds off the back. Cam then still in third after passing Little Leach. Good move from Cam, and then Little Leach making the spin, so all pressure dropping off of him. But it's going to be Big Boy Brazier who takes the first win in the fun race, if you like, of the night, with Keegs who's going to come home in second place. Cam looks like to make it gusset and truss it 1-2 here by taking a third. And then I've just seen a change for the Leach Motorsport guys, as Little Leach had another problem as Gary crosses the line in P4. Little Leach is going to cross the line in 5th, so a couple of problems for Little Leach on that last lap. Deeks is going to come home in P6. With Welshie coming home 7th when he manages to get around. He's a bit far back after his pit stop. We lost Stealth Sloth from the race. Next track for you all is the Daytona Road Course, which let's remind everybody is a night race. The practice session will be at night. We'll do the race in the day, but the practice session is at night with some weather for that as well. Sorry, couldn't get that out. I had to sneeze there. Yes, the weather being light cloud into rain with hazy and overcast. All these was randomly drawn and selected before, as the calendar was submitted. These was randomly picked, so the amount of weather slots and then what the weather was randomly selected. But Big Boy Brazier takes the first win of the night from Keegs, and Cam finishing out the podium for Gusset and Trusset Motorsport. Leach Motorsport are 4th and 5th for them, so work to be done there. Keeg says, well, we're not doing the race at night. I'll do the race at night then. It's only 3 laps. I didn't think it mattered, but we'll do the race at night as well. Keeks, no, don't you worry about that. So while the drivers can go and take a quick relief break or grab a quick drink or a smoke break, we'll be right back with Daytona as I set this up. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as well, where we'll be live for the second night of practice in what should be a fantastic bit of racing with some other guys that you need to get on. Keek says, I need to get a beverage. So you go get yourself a beverage, Keeks. Don't worry, we'll wait for you. You've still got half an hour of practice to go as well after, so don't you worry about that, mate. He wants a Bovril, says Jamie Brazier, or an Iron Brew. More than likely an Iron Brew, I'd say, for Keegs. Need to change the practice time. There we go. 10 people watching, so for the 10 people that are here, please leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and don't forget there's 2 links in the description. One to the Facebook page if you want to just be a spectator and just keep up to date with all the SimPlay Motorsport business, and then the other one for us all to the other link, sorry, for us to be at the group if you wanted to take part in the action. Right now this is just a practice session where we'll be able to get used to people picking the cars, selecting a teammate, livery, things like that. So please join us for this little journey. SimPlay Motorsport really starting to take off now, and hopefully we can get more racers in, more drivers in as well. Maybe race on 1 or 2 nights as well as just a Wednesday and Thursday, and the GT3 is looking to expand into other games and other sims as well, so keep tuned for that. As we see, the Welsh Motorsport, the MC Motorsport guys are away here. First 2 cars out on track. Little each still in the pit lane currently. Gary, sorry, is the first one out on track. Cam going as well. Stealth Sloth. And a very tight pit lane in which Stealth Sloth has span here. I think Welsh had to avoid it. So he's gone back to the pits then. So Gary, the first man out on track. Let's see what Gary can do here in the night time. We'll see what we can get out of this night race. The first of 2 night races on the calendar, as we see an overhead shot there of Gary and that Jamie Brazier coming through onto the oval part of the track. So a different camera angle there. So yeah, a different perspective on for our first night race of the season, the other one being Fuji. Very good track, Daytona, of course. A track that many see can sometimes be quite easy, but it's also quite difficult at the same time. The infield isn't as easy as you'd like, and then you've got the outer oval. And you see Gary coming up to this tight chicane and getting it all horribly wrong. A lot of these guys learning this track as well. A lot of these guys learning the new tracks. Well, this is where the quicker cars in the straight line can really take advantage here and really dominate down the straights. Turn 1 can catch out. You've got to brake a lot earlier than you think for turn 1, as it can catch a few people out. You see Gary and Jamie Brazier taking it well. I think that looked like the other Audi of Little Leach in the background, just heading onto the oval part. Gary through the right-hander. He's coming down to what is a quick left. Here it comes now, flat through here. Take that bit of curb and then get your braking zone ready for this right-hander, which again is a long corner. And you've got to be patient on the throttle to get the power down. Now you've got the tightish left-hander before you come onto the oval and can really stretch legs. I love this new camera angle. Look, the overhead shot here of them coming onto the oval. Absolutely brilliant. See the yellow lights on the Audi and the white lights on the Lamborghini of Jamie Brazier. Gary should be used to this oval racing after his racing he does in real life. Turning left is no problem for Gary. He's a master of the left-hand turn. So this part of the track should be easy for him. It's then when you've got to turn right that might become the problem and the headache, as we're going to see here. Oh no, well done from Gary, that look. And another right-hander he got right. And back onto the left-handers where Gary absolutely adores them. So let's see what Gary is capable of. As Gary crosses the line and sets the first fastest time of the night, but Big Boy Brazier goes 2.1 seconds quicker, so a good time for Big Boy Brazier. Self-Soft did a 2.14 and Cam has done a 2.60, and I don't think they're respectable times. Welshie in the Lamborghini only 2.6 off the lead car, so a good lap time from Welshie in his Lamborghini. Little each towards the back end at the beginning of his lap. There's Keegs and Deeks we see coming round the final parts. Let's see what Deeks can do as he crosses the line now and goes into P4, and Keegs goes P5, so that you really see this Mercedes get hurt here. Little each then the last one to set a lap time. What can he do from here? He'd love to probably put it on the top of the leaderboard as he comes through the chicane part of the track. Round he comes on the second part of the oval, heads towards the line. So it is mainly oval, this track, but at the same time it is the tricky infield that can catch the people out, and that's where the Mercedes is going to have to do all its hard work. As we see Little Each currently go 5th and get caught out by that tricky turn 1. Manages to keep it together but gets caught out by the tricky turn 1. Now where's Gary? He's got Jamie Brazier all over him in the slipstream as they come round the first part of the oval. If I don't come around to complete a lap, Gary goes nearly 3 seconds quicker, but Jamie Brazier is still 1.6 quicker than Gary, and Gary gets the first corner all wrong there. Here comes Welshie across the line and is up by nearly a second, currently 4.1 off of Big Boy Brazier. As we see the rain coming down again now. Now the rain a bit heavier than Spa. So what's this going to do to the drivers as we see the Self-Soft coming through the chicane part of the track? Is he going to continue on this lap, or is he going to put it in the pits? Let's wait and see. Coming round the second part of the oval. There's the line to drop down into the pits. But no staying out. Clearly not wet enough yet for wet tyres. So Self-Soft going to finish his lap. He'll be silly not to if he's up, and he is up by half a second. That takes him above Keegs then. So Deeks must have had a problem because Keegs has passed him. And now these two and Little Each may start to struggle here. Keegs has gone back into the pits, so is Deeks. So where is Little Each? Just coming onto the oval, second part of the oval. Now is he going to drive into the pits for wet tyres, or is he going to keep the slicks on? Now he's going to come into the pits as he drops down low and heads towards, as the Americans like to call it, pit road. He's going to make his stop. So for Gary and Big Boy Brazier, who's that just behind? That's not Welshie. Welshie's coming through the chicane. He's had a bit of a moment. It's not Self-Soft neither. Cam Yeah, it was Cam. Cam's going to tuck into the pits now, as is Gary, who is disqualified. So Gary's been disqualified from the session, so he's going to have to leave to rejoin. Entered the pit lane a bit too quickly there. Jamie Brazier also coming into the pits. Welsh's going to drop down low, it looks like, and pit as well. Yep, he's coming into pit road. Keegs isn't in the pits, but he's looks like he's parked up at the end. Not sure what's up there with Keegs. Dixo back on track, should be on the wet tyre, so back on track for him. What a Doyle, Gary. Yep, what a Doyle indeed. Who goes that fast into the pit lane and gets disqualified? We see then Deeks coming around. He will be the first one who's going to start a timed lap properly on the wet tyre. So let's see how bad the pace is that drops off. As he comes down now. Got the chicane to manage here. Oh, just couldn't get it slowed down enough to turn in, so has to cut across it, unfortunately, there. And we'll cut across that. This is only an outlap on the wet tyre, so still he's got to learn the track again on the wets. Cam's back. I think everybody's back out on track. Well, she's just coming out now. Keegs is out as well. Sloth, is he just coming in or is he coming out? Bethany Duffin in the chat says, come on Gary, stop playing about. Gary's biggest fan. That's Big Boy Brazier we see in the wet, making a rare mistake for him. Is he not a fan of the wet conditions? Is that something that's going to catch him out on race night? Gary still not back in the session as yet, sorry. So we'll wait him to join. Sloth still in the pit lane. Cam coming around the first part of the oval as Deeks is just coming on his first time lap now. Keegs coming round as well. Gary says, sorry, I'm pantsing GT3 and international tracks. Oh, don't be like that, Gary. Now, is Gary in something different? He is. Now, is this a test of a different car for Gary as he's come out now in the Porsche? So All Each Motorsport just playing with a few cars. Very tight, narrow pit lane here, so you've got to be careful to make sure you can get around it. Oh, as he blocks his brother there. In fact, can't be seeing that. That's why they're ghosting there, because Gary's had to leave and come back in. Little Leach won't be able to see Gary, but Gary will be able to see Little Leach, and that's why they was ghosting on the screen. We can see them all. It's just so they don't interfere with laps joining in halfway through. So that's all it is. So Gary trying the Porsche out. Let's see what he can do, if that will help him. I'm not sure if the Porsche is going to be the best car. We saw Sloth off as Gary and Little Leach passed him on track. Big Boy Brazier still going, as is Welshie. Who's the car just in front of Welshie then? It's Deeks. So Deeks come round, goes 3 seconds slower, does a 156. So is that the kind of pace we're looking at from these lads? See Welshie doing a 2:14, so that's possibly an outlap. How's Cam doing? Not seeing much of Cam so far tonight. In this session, should I say. How's Cam doing? Let's see him. Let's pick him up here and see him do this. In a different livery for this one. Looking good, does Cam. He's Big Boy Brazier's teammate and learning all the time. Not done much sim racing. I spoke to Cam before practice sessions. As Little Leach leaves the session, is he going to come into the Porsche now as well? He was speaking to Cam and he says he's not done much sim racing, so he apologises if he's not the best, but he looks like he's learning and getting better. He's 3 seconds currently down on his best time, and with only the oval left, he's not really going to lose that much. Oh, you see the sparks flying as he hits a bump. I don't think Cam's done too bad. Has the rain stopped? It looks like it's stopped on my screen. Let's just go on board. And the rain still looks like it's coming down slightly. Yeah, Cam 3.7 down on his time. That's not a bad time to look at though. Big Boy Brazier 7 seconds down on his. We saw him have that horrible lap. Here's Welsh. Deeks just in front as Deeks done through the chicane this time round. Yeah, looks a lot better through there. Bit slidey on exit and off he goes. Welshie then just touching the wall on the outside of the oval part. Deeks goes into the pit lane. So Welshie then comes down the straight. Looks like it stopped raining here according to my camera, so I wonder if the rain has stopped. Now it's back again here, so must just be that camera facing the opposite direction. And Welshie 6 seconds down on his best time, currently second fastest. Stealth Sloth, oh, he's off on track. You see at the bottom of the screen there, he's off as Cam and Jamie Brazier come round, the 3 Lamborghini cars. The Mercedes man of Keegs coming into the chicane area now. He has Gary behind him. Let's see what Gary's lap time is in the wet here. Oh, Keegs has got that horribly wrong and manages to not put it in the wall. But let's just go on board a lap with Gary. Such a smooth operator is Gary. You see the rain has now stopped. It is all just spray, so how quick will this dry up before maybe the guys go on dry tyres or not? So 2 sessions here with rain on them. So we know Gary and Little each don't have the laps in here. Keegs and Deeks are only on 5. Big Boy Brazier, Welshie, Stealth Sloth and Cam all on 6 laps as Gary crosses the line and does a 1:53.5. So quicker than Cam at the minute on his wet tyres. Can he get on the dries and set a better lap there as Little Leach is now back with us. Look how smooth Gary is on the wheel. Such a smooth operator is Gary. Nice downshifts there as he heads into the right-hander. You can cut that curb slightly and put the power down as he does there. Now flat through here, is it in the wet conditions? Should be. Is Gary flat? Yeah, he's flat and on the limiter and gears up as he goes around the corner. Now picks his braking zone up for this long right-hander. Round through it he goes. Stealth Sloth's been disqualified, so that's possibly for going too quick, so he may have to just jump out to come back in. Gary a 10th up on his time as well here. Deeks, Cam and Little Leach in the pits. Little Leach hasn't come back out yet. And we go onto the oval section here. So Gary's favourite part of the track, turning left. You don't see that wheel moving too much. He's really smooth on the wheel. Gears up again now, the chicane. How can he navigate this on a quick lap? Oh, doesn't get it too right. Does Gary there. And with him only being a 10th up, that may have cost him more. No, he's still 500ths up, but he may still be losing time as he comes around this second part of the track. So we'll wait and see what Gary can do from this point. He's going to cross the line now. Oh, sorry, on the bend, as we've done a lap with Gary 131, aka Gary Leach. And he does improve by just a 10th, and it puts him above Cam. Oh, he stays above Cam by a couple of seconds now. Little Leach also in the Porsche. So is this a second option? Little Leach making a mistake there, bottom of screen. And who's that off? That's Keegs down at the bottom of the track. So what's Keegs been doing? Has he had a bit of a off as well? Deek still currently in the pit lane, waiting for Stealth Sloth to get back in. I think's coming in now. That's what the little bit of lag is. Yes, the Stealth Sloth coming back in now. We're on board with Keeg, so he had a bit of a moment. Track looking like it's drying though. The spray's not really there, although you can't see much of it. And Keeg's getting it horribly wrong through the chicane again. So really not getting the quality of laps he'll want here. Big Boy Brazier still leading, and yeah, the spray's pretty much non-existent so far, as Stelsloff is back in and away he goes. Welsh is in the pit, so is he putting the dries back on? Deeks also sat in the pit lane. Now this will be come the race time as well for this will be the only race with a rolling start, not a standing start. As we see Big Boy Brazier gaining on the back of his teammate Cam. Cam looks like he's been in the walls a little bit, a few scrapes on that car. Not sure if he's just clipped a wall or something during the session. And he's really giving a toe to his teammate, really helping his teammate out here. Now hopefully they don't come together, as they're about to come across the timing line, and as I say, I hope they don't come together. They do there. Both cross the timing line. As Aidan Bennett in the chat, first time I've ever seen Welshie quicker than Keegs, and not just on a sim. That's no surprise to me, mate. Welshie's a lot faster than Keegs on this. Keegs just doesn't have the pace. Maybe the difference in the cars, but Welshie really getting the laps under his belt, and he's really getting the practice in to try and make that step up into the quicker group. As we see, that is Cam just behind Welshie. Big Boy Brazier now in the pits, Keegs in the pits, and Deeks also in the pit lane. But yeah, here is Welshie. I think he may have pitted for the dry tyres. Looking quite comfortable as well here. Keegs with a laughing face. As we see Cam on the back of Welshie. Not sure if Cam's how much damage he's got to that car. It looks alright at the moment. Nice little camera angle, that. And we see Welshie now coming onto the oval and can really stretch his legs. Now is he on the dry tyres and Cam on the wet still? So is it kind of still wet enough for the wet tyres to be working and not overheating? As we see Cam hits a bump and just takes off a bit there. That obviously looked absolutely spectacular on the stream and realistic. Well done, Project Cars. There we see Chris very tentative through there, very casual if you like through that quick part of the track. We see Little Leach has now gone into 6th place in the Porsche, just behind his teammate, but just ahead of Cam as well. Stelsloff not done a time yet. Aidan, if you fancy joining us on the SimPlay Motorsport Racing, there's a link in the description to join the group for the races. Or if not, and you just want to be a spectator, there's a link in the description to keep up to date as the fans. As Swimfins has now joined us for the final 9 minutes, so that's 9 races in. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel and give the video a big thumbs up for me, buddy, much appreciated. As we see Welsh, he must be on the dry tyres. He just looks a bit cautious. Looks like he's a bit too cautious. As we see Stelsloff now at the pits for MC Motorsport. There is a car sat at the end of the pits. It's not Keegs, not Big Boy Brazier. We know it's not Welshie. Deeks is out on track. Gary's out on track. It's Little Leach currently sat at the end of the pit lane. Not sure why, but Stelsloff the only one who's not set a time yet. Did have a time earlier. Well, look at that. Would you know, the 2 MC Motorsport boys, and that's Cam as well. So what's going off down the straight coming onto the oval? Because all 3 of them there seem to do the exact same thing and lose the rear. That's Gary Leach coming through. He looks like he's quite comfortable through there. So not sure what all that was about, but the 3 Lamborghinis losing the car as it was coming down on towards the oval. So that's not going to do their lap times any good at all. As that bit of a lag there means that Swimfins has now joined us. Tested the Lamborghini and the Porsche last week and is back in the Porsche right now at the moment in the light blue livery. So joining us on the drying track as well, so that'll be good for him. Get some good dry lap pace out there. And let's see what sort of lap time he can do then. Look, speaking of laps, Big Boy Brazier currently setting them again with the most laps of 10 at the moment, but Welshie and Cam are on 9 apiece. So Big Boy Brazier, who's currently on screen, setting the times and the lap counter alight. As we see Gary just behind the two MC Motorsport boys of the Stealth Sloth, who's done a 2:24, but had that spin, don't forget. With Welshie just in front of him with 6 minutes remaining in the session. Flat out through there. Big Boy Brace is in the pits making a pit stop. Cam is also in the pits. Now Stealth Sloth won't be able to see Gary. That's why Gary is ghosting, because Gary left the session and come back in. But he's currently 16 seconds up on his time. That will half the deficit there. And they managed to get through this part okay this time round. Does Welshie and Stealth Sloth now. The Lamborghini can really stretch its legs here. Oh, brilliant, Aidan. We'll pick up the game next week and join the racing next week. Brilliant, mate. Just press, like I say, just press the link in the description, pal, and join the group. And that'll be absolutely fantastic, mate. It'd be nice to have another driver on board. Swimfin's there as well, ghosting to a few others. A few cars ghosting there as Swimfin's come on late. Don't forget Stealth Sloth come on late as well. That's why you see two ghosting side by side. And Stealth Sloth on track. That is Gary and Welshie who are ghosting. And look at Gary. That Porsche actually has a bit of pace over the Lamborghini. And looks like it's doing well here. There you go, Aidan, mate, you're in. Thank you for that one. That Porsche looks like it's got a bit of pace as Stealth Sloth goes 32 seconds quicker and manages to put it into P5 as Keegs is currently in the pit lane. Is he going to get enough time to get out and beat Welshie? Gary's gone second quickest overall, 2.1 off of Jamie Brazier, so good time for the Porsche. Where's Little Leach for Leach Motorsport? He's just coming out of the pits, as is Swimfins and Big Boy Brazier. Big Boy Brazier and Welshie now both have 11 laps between them. So nice to see them getting the laps in. Yeah, back. Let's just jump on board with Swimfins. Let's see how he does on his outlap. So just let you know then, Aidan, that the racing doesn't start straight away. We'll start on the 23rd of September. This is just practice to choose which car you're going to race in as a team throughout the course of the season, because there are no chopping and changing cars, one car, one livery. And we go from there. But no, appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much. Another racer on the grid, so if Smithy is participating as well, that could be 13 guys in the Pro-Am group. If not in the Pro, if not 11 guys in the Pro group, if there is no Smithy, then we'll have 12 as Swimfins completely misses the chicane bit. Gary's gone round as well. I don't know where Swimfins is going. Obviously learning the track. Swimfin's now going backwards up the track, so going back from where he came from, so not quite sure if Swimfins knows which way he's going. Probably he's just clicked on now. He's just seen Big Boy Brazier. Yeah, he's clicked on now. Look, he's back round facing the right way, and then through the chicane he comes. This Dean Wasocki's joins me now. Evening, Dean.
Hello. Hello, evening all.
Oh, well?
Yeah.
Good. Good lad. So we see Gary's improved on his time again. He's gone 9 tenths. Sorry, he's now 9 tenths behind Big Boy Brazier, so he's gained a bit of time there and he's 2 tenths up coming through the first sector. So Gary in that Porsche looking quick as Dean's now in the session as well, so if we can get a lap in, or a lap or two maybe in. The Acura again, Dean?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought so. So another car out on the track as well, different manufacturer. For Gary, he'll 2 tenths up on his time. Stealth Sloth has put it into 3rd place. So there you go, Aidan. Not only is Welshie quicker than Keegs, but his uncle's quicker than him as well. So Keegs needs to pull his finger out. He's currently sat in the pits. Can't be eating again, surely.
I can't join lobby. Well, can't go in yet. There's a race.
Yeah, it might because we're just down to 2-minute marks. You might just have to bear with us. As Gary's coming round the final oval bend here. And he's going to head round towards the start-finish straight now. Swinfins is in the pits making a pit stop. Keegs is also in the pits. Gary just clipping the wall on the exit of the oval. Thought he'd be used to turning left, but clearly not. And he's going to cross the line and goes 2/10 quicker, so only 6/10 off the big boy Brazier in that Porsche. So could we see a Porsche in the Pro category? How's the Stealth Sloth doing? He's coming around to turn 1 now. Currently 3.2 off the pace, with Welshie just behind him on track. Like I say, Keegs in the pits. Deeks is here, currently half a second up, just coming down onto the oval now. So what can Deeks do? Be interesting to see what he can get from this as well. As he's coming around, currently 6 seconds off the pace, so let's see if Deeks can improve this time. We've seen him half a second up now, the track has dried. So clearly dry enough that everybody's improving on their lap times. Everybody's on track other than Keegs. And Deeks heading into the chicane section now. Gets around the first left-hander, then the right, back on the power, over the yellow curbing of the right-hander and then the left, and back up the oval. Now he's lost 4/10 somewhere, as he's only a 10th up now, but the power of the Lamborghini on the oval here can really let Deeks possibly gain some time. And can he improve? Needs to find a 2.5. Gonna need to hope I beat Keegs with all this talk, says Aidan. 100%, mate. Here comes Deeks, and as he comes round the little bend onto the start line and loses out, actually. He's gone 3/10 slower, so a bit slower there from him. Little Each not seeing a time, or a respectable time you'd say, from him. Teammate and brother 6/10 off the leader, and Little Each currently sits 6.1 off the leader. Dean, you got a bit of testing in last week. Obviously, you're going to get a bit of testing in this week as well, or tonight as well, at least. What's your aims at it? I think the next track will be Bruno, so I think will be the one you're able to test. So what you're hoping to get out of that?
Just a little bit of testing and see how the car handles, see if we can get used to it a bit more. Hopefully be top half that everyone else is getting the times.
There's Little Each very quick and nimble through the chicane, and he's currently 1.5 seconds up on his time as he's entered the second oval, second part of the oval, should I say. As the timer has now ran out, so people crossing the line now will be done. Deeks and Keegs in the pits, so they're not going to get another lap time in. So there is 4 cars who's on a lap. Little Each is going to be the first car to finish. And we saw him a 2.5 up. Is he going to be up even more as he crosses the line? He does improve and goes to P5, so a good bit of time for him there. Swinfins could get his first lap in here. You see the people who have set the pace. Welshie's done the most laps. Swinfins crosses the line and manages to get a lap in. Not really of true pace, I don't think, but a lap in nonetheless. Big boy Brazier is going to call that a session. 6/10 off. Now then, Gary will be the first of the next lot to finish. He has just put in the chat though, decisions. So is Gary actually done? Did he not make the next lap? Keek says, I'm not enjoying this. Enjoying what, mate? Can't get this right. So big boy Brazier sets the pace again from Gary. Only 6/10 this time, with Welshie finishing 3rd, Stealth Sloth 4th, Little Each 5th, Keegs all the way down in 6th. Keegs though has, I noticed, gone up to a pro rating on the gold, that is the gold banner at the end of his number. Deeks in 7th, Cam 8th, and Swinfins didn't get a respectable time in 9th. I think then for this 3-lap race, I don't know if Dean will be on the grid or if Dean will be able to spectate one. So completely random grid again. Welshie on pole, with Keegs starting in 2nd place for the rolling start. Big boy Brazier 3rd, with Little Each 4th, Stealth Sloth 5th, Deeks in 6th, Cam 7th, Gary at the back of the grid again, and Swinfins in P9.
We're just loading in now, Matt.
And we're rolling away here then, so Dean will be with me and be able to spectate this one with me. As you hear the lights come on. And it's green. The rolling start is away. And who's got the better one of it? And it looks like it's Keegs, who's just slightly in front of Welshie. Watch out for the first corner, as it is going to be mayhem. Keegs cuts in front of his dad. And and he's lost it under braking. Stealth Sloth also off. He was in the pit lane near enough there on the pit exit. Big Boy Brazier and Little Leech rubbed on each other, but have got through easily there. And Welshie hard on the brakes, and Little Leech up the inside of Big Boy Brazier for P2. Gary's gone from the back of the grid up into 4th. Deeks is up into P5. Swimfins has gone from the back row to 6th, as well as we have had Keeg spinning off, Cam off, and Stealth Sloth off. So 2 races where Stealth Sloth hasn't done that well, but it's Welshie out front that leads at the moment, and has got a good start there. Well, Keeg span, and that was Little Leech all out of shape coming through the right-hander, and Big Boy Brazier slides through the inside. And now Little Leech has his brother Gary, brother and teammate, should I say, Gary, on the back of him, but will have the slipstream on the oval. Can that Porsche keep up with the Lamborghinis in front? Big Boy Brazier has the tow from Welshie. Gary has the tow from Little Leech, and Little Leech has the tow from Big Boy Brazier here as they head down the oval then in towards the first part of the chicane here. Keegs has managed to get past Swimfins, and Big Boy Brazier had a look at Welshie there, but Welshie defending it very well so far. As we see Brazier really attacking Welshie then, and will have the slipstream on the second part of the oval as they come now. There is Brazier gaining and gaining. You see the slipstream advantages here, and look at him really pulling to the high line here around the second part of the oval. They practically touched to Welshie and Big Boy Brazier. Side by side they are. They've got Little Leech in the just behind them. Gary must have made a mistake as he's dropped off. Little Leech really gaining with a double slipstream, and look at this, it could be 3 abreast coming over the line. Little Leech takes the higher line over Welshie and touches, and he clips Big Boy Brazier. I think Welshie went to look on Brazier and Little Leech was there. And Welshie's now going to have to keep up the pace to gain on Brazier, but he's lost a bit of ground. Gary's now back up to 3rd, and Little Leech going to have a heck of damage. No lights neither then. That was a big hard impact. Keegs up to P5. Cam has just passed Swimfins for 6th. As Swimfins has span at turn 1, so Deeks has got past as well for 7th. Stealth Sloth currently running in 9th, currently 34 seconds behind the leader. But it all went off there over the start line. How much did Welshie know that Little Leech was there? Horribly wrong. 3 into 1 don't go, and 3 over the start line didn't go there, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Big Boy Brazier leads here by 1.5 seconds from Welshie. You see there from the overhead camera. Gary also in the picture now, just a bit back from Welshie. Car's a bit spread out here after a few incidents and a few spins, but it's only, like I say, it's just a 3-lap race. It's not meaning anything. How is Little Leech going to carry on in this race? He doesn't seem like he's got the top speed he wants. The gap to him and Keegs is slowly coming down. You see there in the middle of your screen, gap behind Keegs is falling quite quick actually, and he's not where he'd want to be. Keegs can't get it right, he said in the stream for the practice session. Maybe that's something he needs to speak with his teammate about. See if his teammate can give him a few pointers here or there. He's not got his lights on. Rules and regulations do stipulate that you've got to have your lights on. I know Little Leech can't, because of the fact he's got no lights now. He's been into the wall. That time still tumbling down between him and Little Leech, although Little Leech pulled a bit more of a gap out coming through the sort of chicane bit to split the oval section up. But Keegs on the oval is really gaining on that Porsche, and Little Leech does not pit. There is a car in the pits, that is Deeks, who's in the pit, so he's retired from this race. Gary gaining on the back of Welshie. We see Keegs is now within 1 second of Little Leech as well. That'll be the damage to Little Leech. Can he get that middle, this infield section right to pull a bit away, as we are on the final lap here? Gary may well want to try and pass Welshie to get a P2. How much damage does Welshie have as well after tapping with Little Leech? That's the question you've got to ask as well. So Gary really gaining on him. He's 4/10 up this lap as well. Look at the overhead camera as they come in. Not much between him and Welshie. Didn't seem to get that corner absolutely perfect. So Gary here has really one more chance in a braking zone to gain on the back and really catch Welshie. Let's see Keegs to Little Leech. That gap's down to 9/10. Keegs still not got his lights on then. And the gap on the oval is coming down quickly again. It's when they get to the chicane bit that Keegs seems to lose out. The gap here, though, is still falling. It's down to 0.4 of a second now. Keegs really on the back of him, and he's going to have a look. Really should have his lights on to let the Little Leach know he's there. Not good to be in a black livery at night, because you can't really see him, and Little Leach all out of shape. Little Leach obviously has no lights. His car is a bit broken at the moment. As we go back onto the oval, this should be easy pickings for Keegs, but we'll jump back to the leader as Big Boy Brazier is going to take a win. Nearly wasn't, nearly ended up in the wall, but a win for Big Boy Brazier. Welchie and Gary are side by side. Who's going to cross the line? Gary is just in front, and Gary takes second place from Welchie in third. Keegs has passed Little Leach and starts to cruise away here with this one. Keegs with a flash of the lights. So your lights are working, Keegs, as he crosses the line in fourth. Little Leach fifth. Cam is going to take a sixth. Swimfins is in the pit lane. Not sure why he's in the pits, but Cam is going to take a quiet sixth place here. See him cross the line. Stealth Sloth is only just getting on to the oval part. Swimfins is doing a pit stop for damage. Stealth Sloth a minute 3 behind, so not sure why he's that far behind, but I think it is just him to finish as Swimfins crosses the line. I think will be finished. Either way, he's not going to make it around in 56 seconds, that's for sure, because the lap is a minute 40, a minute 50 a lap anyway. So just waiting on Stealth Sloth, who comes into the chicane part, the middle bit of the oval. Oh, does it get the first bit right, which makes the second bit horrible. You've got to get that first bit bang on. Back onto the oval now. The Merc is quick in a straight line. That Porsche's got some legs, by the way, says Gary. Keek says the Merc is quick in a straight line. I didn't see any legs on that Porsche there, Gary. I saw 4 tyres. I didn't see any legs though, mate. Stealth Sloth is going to cross the line to complete the finishes then, as we're going to head to Bruno next. So back to the daytime, but with a bit of fog around. Fog with rain and fog for the second part, so it's never going to... Keek says, Gary, I just went straight around your brother on the last bend. Gary says, haha, and then Keek spelt straight properly. Yeah, Keeks, Little Leach had a lot of damage. I don't know if you noticed that, but Big Boy Brazier takes the win from Gary 131, who was very tight on the line to Welshie, with Keeks finishing 4th, Little Leach 5th, Cam 6th, Stealth Sloth 7th, Swimfins in 8th, did not finish, and Deeks retired after lap 1. So while we just wait, we'll be in the lobby. We're just going to wait for me to set the next session up. So we're at Bruno with fog with rain into fog. So it may dry up, but the fog isn't going to go. So this could be a full wet race here. So let's just get this right. So just the 2 weather slots here. Fog with rain into fog. So the track may dry, but not as quick as people might like here. Do believe everybody's ready.
I've read it up, mate.
So we'll get the session underway. So Dean, fog then on this one. Important to get a lot of laps in under here, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Got to get a lot of laps in. Especially in fog and the rain, so the visibility is not going to be very good at all. No,
it's not. You're right there. At least it's going to be better than last week where we tested in the heavy fog, because I didn't realise there was a normal fog option. So at least we've got that one sorted. And we're all right for that one.
I think it's best to not have the slipstream on here, especially in fog.
Yeah, you're going to have to be brave on the brake, supposed to have a lot of trust in your partners to be able to overtake. Around here, you've got to really trust the other drivers on the grid if you're going to overtake, especially seeing as this is the weather for the racing. So Big Boy Brazier straight out. Dean Wasocki not out yet, neither Swimfins. Little Leach is coming down the pit lane. Gary's just pulling out now. Cam is also out there. Stealth Sloth just pulling out. Keegs' second car on track. Deek's still in there as well.
That's waiting for...
When does Swimfins, Deeks and Dean think of going? Dean just saying he's waiting there.
Just waiting for a bit of clear track.
So Bruno, it's a tight and twisty circuit, up and downhill as well. That's Swimfins who's decided to pull the trigger and get himself out. So just the Lamborghini of Deeks and the Acura of Dean Wasocki to come out on track then. Swimfins out on track, so is Little Leach, but I do believe it was Cam, first car on track, who is side by side there with Little Leach. So he must have made a mistake somewhere. Big boy Brazier, interesting to see him. We've seen him spin a few times in the wet conditions, so it'll be interesting to see how he can manage around here. Welsh, let's see what he can do as well, but let's see what the Porsches can do mainly as well. I've driven the Acura quite a bit in the wet, and it is a good car as we see Dean Wasocki out. Never really driven the Porsche in the wet, so I'm not sure how that handles. Neither have I driven the Lamborghini or Mercedes in wet, so I can't really comment on how they feel. Jamie Brazier asking Keegs what happened at the start, and Keegs saying that he outbraked himself and it snapped on him. So I think Keegs needs to just ask his teammate maybe for a bit of a few tips around Daytona. I know Mazda is a lover of the Daytona road course. As you see the fog, you can just make out the liveries. Lights also on and required on for this one, as they see Gary just running slightly wide there. So who's the first car on track? Let's pick up the first driver. We see Cam spinning round this Stealth Sloth. Keegs is there. It's Big Boy Brazy, the first car on track. So let's just jump on him then and see what he can do. Who's going to set the first time lap as he heads uphill then over the brow of the hill into the braking zone of the left-hander. Kind of like a chicane pretty much this part. And then around the long right-hander of the final corner, and then he's got the start-finish straight to deal with. So down the start-finish straight he comes now. Make him out just there, look, in the fog and rain. Wipers on and he gets his braking zone. Touches the first apex there, and you can sort of let the car drift a bit wider for the second part of that corner as it really sort of does tighten up on itself, and then into the little flat out king. Up the straight, slightly uphill as well, pick your braking zone and get it right. Cam's in the pits now as he comes round the left hander, does Big Boy Brazier. You've got a short straight before you come up to the right hander. Really on the power, and you see him getting that car all out of shape, managing to hold it but getting it all out of shape. Now downhill, this is where it starts to tighten up and the corners come at you thick and fast. So around the right hander there, you've got another right hander coming up shortly, which is tighter, so you've got to brake for it. And by the time you get back on the power, you've got to slightly lift off, bit of brake, then into the left hander. Now back on the power you can get, but not for too long before you brake on the brakes again into another left hander. Watch for the tyres on the insides of the curb as well, because they could damage the car slightly. On the power, then you've got a right hander to deal with, and now you can start to stretch your legs a bit more. Got a long right hander coming up after this straight as you then head uphill towards a chicane. So for all this time, for the first half of the lap you're going downhill, the second half is all uphill. So here he goes out that double right hander, cuts back across to the right hand side of the track, and uphill he goes into the chicane. And round there he goes nicely, uphill still as you're coming up to the final two corners. Big Boy Brazy's ball that got in out of shape once. It looks like he's driven a good clean race here so far. Oh, good clean lap should I say so far. See the puddles forming on that final corner. They might catch you out later in the session. But it's been a good lap for Big Boy Brazy, and he's going to set a 2:11. So he'll be happy with that time. Keegs is just behind the Porsche of Gary Leach. So let's see what time Gary can do in relation to Big Boy Brazy's 2:11. So oh, he doesn't set a time. Keegs has done a 2:16. Now the Stealth Sloth was in front of Welshie. He's not now. Welshie crosses the line and does a 2:28. Stealth Sloth crosses the line and does a 2:18. Is that Little Leach about to cross the line? It is. He goes and does a 2:21. So Big Boy Brazy really got a good lap in. It was the next car after that. It's not Swimfins as he's just behind Dean and nearly clips the back of Dean there under brake, and it's going to be Cam to set the next lap time. Coming through the final two corners now, and he really looks like he's struggling whether it's picking up his braking zone or just struggling in the wet as he comes through that puddle on the final corner. Down the start finish straight he goes now. So Gary must have clipped a tyre and invalidated his lap. Cam crosses the line and goes into P6. Now Dean Wysocki, his lights aren't on at the moment. Well, they are now. Round in the final two corners, a bit wider there. They need a probably light to keep it nice and tight on this last one. Through the puddle he goes, and now get your foot down. Who's that just in front? I think his Swimfin's just in front. It looks like Deeks is finally coming out the pits as well, so he's going to get some laps in. As Swimfins has gone P6 ahead of Cam, and Dean into P8 with a 2:50, so only a second behind Cam. Well off the pace at the moment is Cam, Dean and Swimfins as Deeks has come out, and Gary should hopefully get a lap time in this time around. Big boy Brazier is the man who's setting the times at the moment. Through the chicane and uphill then towards the second corner we go. And this is where it gets important. What can Jamie Brazier do here? As he crosses the line, didn't see any improvement there. Sorry, I just had a bit of a caught the PS button. Didn't see an improvement there. What's Gary going to do? He's going to set his first lap time as around the final corner. He comes through the puddle, back on fully on the power now. Keegs just in front is up into P3. Welshie still outdoing Keegs here as Gary goes into second place. Who's that in the background? Not the Stealth Sloth. Yeah, he's coming into the pits. Where's Welshie now then? Just going around the first corner. Pick Cam up, coming uphill towards the chicane. Little Leach has gone into fifth, so good lap time from him. Just jump back on board Cam here. See Cam coming through the final couple of corners here. Looks like he's finally starts to get into grips. He looks a bit quicker through this final part of the track. Comes through the puddle. That puddle looks like it's getting worse. And down the straight he goes. He's gone 30 seconds quicker, so he's gone into P5. Quicker than Little Leach and Gary, so that's a good time there from him. Swimfins then has a car just in front of him of Deeks, so let's see what Deeks can do. Swimfins are just span coming through the chicane. Uphill then comes Deeks. What can Deeks do from here? Swimfins actually has improved on his time as well and has gone 14 seconds quicker than Dean, so Dean really got to get his finger out. What can Deeks do, sorry? The DEA's on the side catching people out. That's going to catch people out. Oh, in fact, it's not this season. Deeks and Dean in two different leagues, but Deeks is going to set his first lap time then as he crosses the line to, no, possibly start his first lap, as he's not done one there. We saw Swimfins spin, so he's obviously not going to be up. Them tyres possibly from Swimfins spinning round. As Dean just losing it at the final corner.
I hate them tyres.
Oh, he did. Dean did hit the tyres, and just confirming there. Dean down the start straight now, and no improvement still. Currently sits 14 seconds off the pace of Swimfins at the moment. Jamie Brazier is about to do his next lap time. Everybody currently on 3 laps other than Deeks. Deeks only on his first lap as Jamie crosses the line, and no improvement for him this time around. Next car on track, I do believe, is Keegs. No, it is not. It's not Welshie either, because he's spun. Is it Gary Leach? It is Gary Leach. Is he going to set anything better? He's gone 12 seconds quicker and currently puts it P2, 4 seconds off of the pace then. Keegs pulls to the side and has backed out of that one. Stealth Sloth, oh, he's around at the final corner. We know Welshie, he isn't going to improve. Keegs has gone into the pit lane then. Where's Little Leach? He's gone through turn 1. He's gone up in second now ahead of Gary, Leach Motorsport teammate. As Welshie's coming through the final corner. We did see him spinning at one stage, so I don't think Welshie's going to improve on his time here. No, he doesn't. What about the Stealth Sloth? We're seeing him spin as well, so I don't think he's going to have made an improvement neither. As the rain looks like it's slowing, Stealth Sloth comes across the line now, and he's not on the pace neither. What about Cam? Can Cam improve any and maybe move up a place or two? No improvement from him there. So Deeks will be the next car to finish his lap. The only one who currently hasn't set a lap time so far. Let's see what sort of time he can set. With 19 minutes left on the clock, the rain slowing and slowing here. So it'll be interesting to see if Deeks can get it up there. In fact, the rain looks like it's pretty much stopped to me. Oh, he's caught the tyres on entry to the last corner, so that will potentially invalidate his lap. And there's going to be tyres all over the place for Dean Wysocki and swim fins to come up to, as there is swim fins, but it's Dean who... Deeks has set a lap time, sorry, he's gone 8th quickest. Here's Dean then. Needs to make an improvement, catches one of them tyres that Deeks flicked onto the track. Now let's see if Dean's up on his delta. Can he improve his time? He does. 33 seconds quicker, goes up to P6 and not far off the back of Keegs, who still currently sits in the pit lane. Swimfins, can he improve any on his time? No, 2 seconds down that lap time then. So Dean, good improvement for you there, better lap?
Yeah, definitely.
Big boy Brazier round. Is the rain slowing?
No.
No. Big boy Brazier rounds the final corner and doesn't improve at all there. I think that's Gary crossing the line. He does improve by 3 tenths, but it's not enough to put him closer to his Leach Motorsport teammate, or not enough to overtake his Leach Motorsport teammate, who is 1.1 currently in front of Gary Leach. And he's really got the upper hand on him round this track. Gary potentially still learning as Little Leach is down on his time. Where's Welshie? Oh, he's had another spin. Gary's gone into the pits. Where's the Stealth Sloth? He's a bit further back on track than Welshie, so who's that in between? It's Cam. 9 seconds down on his delta. So let's see what Stealth Sloth is through Sector 2. As we'll try and pick the guys up who are up on the delta. Stealth Sloth, he's 26 seconds down on his delta. Deeks, and he's coming around to Sector 2 now. Okay, he's not done as many laps as these guys. Dean, the rain on my screen looks like it's stopped. Is that the case?
It's slowed down, but on some parts of the track it's still a bit raining a little bit.
Ah, fair enough then. Deeks, sorry. 2.6 seconds up on his delta time then, so we'll finish this lap with Deeks and see if he can improve. And a 2.6 will bump him up sort of mid-pack around Dean Wysocki Keeg sort of territory. Now let's see how good it actually is, how good the time actually is. I spoke to Deeks earlier today. We believe he's teaming up with Holty, so them two back as a pairing. As they come down the start-finish straight, he's 5 seconds up on his time, and that's good enough to split the Leach Motorsport boys, as I said, around Keegs and Dean. But he's gone P3 then, so the track, with it stopped raining, clearly developing in the right directions. Although not for Dean Wysocki, as he's all out of shape and loses the car into the final corner.
So I don't want wet tyres.
Swimfin's coming up. Big boy Brace is about to set a lap time. You can still hear Dean's car, so Dean just getting back on the road and underway. So Big boy Brazier now coming down the straight. A lot of spray still coming off these cars. Brazier 3 tenths down on his time. What about Swimfins? A lot of damage to Swimfins' car, but takes the final corner nice and easy. And down the start straight we go then. Big boy Brazier in the pits. So's Keegs. Keegs spending a lot of time in the pits. So to say he's struggling on the tracks, spending a lot of time in the pits. If you're struggling, you'd think you'd get yourself out there. Big boy Brazier then in the pits. Gary and Little Leach have crossed the line. No improvement from them two. Gary, the Leach Motorsport boys, sorry, being split by Deeks then. Good time from Deeks in that Lamborghini. Where's Welsh? He's got Cam just in front of him coming through this second sector. What about Stealth Sloth? He's coming up to the second sector now. Not sure who is in front of Stealth Sloth there. But the track now is going to start to slowly dry, you reckon. The fog's still there. It's not going to dry quick, but it is going to start to dry, you'd think. Stealth Sloth just slightly down on his personal best coming through the second sector time. Big boy Brazier back out on track. Keegs not. So who's done the lap time so far? Brazier's done 6. So's Gary. Everybody else on the 5th lap. So them two have set done 6 lap times. I'll get it at it eventually. Not sure who that is in front of Stealth Sloth. Can't quite see. Might be the Porsche Little Leach as Stealth Sloth spins round. It was the Porsche Little Leach. Doesn't improve that time round. So Stealth Sloth has span. What about Cam? What can he do? He's got Welshie all up his rear. Flashing the lights there from Chris. Is he thinking of a Scottish send it? We'll have to wait and see. But Cam then struggling on the exit to that corner and is very wide, then coming through here. Through the puddle he goes and nearly loses the rear of that car, so I don't think Cam's going to improve much on his time here. No, what about Welshie? He's also down. So where's Deeks on track? That's Dean Wasocki. Deeks is here. Deeks has actually just gone second quickest, so he's well in front of Little Leach as well. So Deeks really setting good pace. These Porsches not seeming too good in the wet. Dean Wasocki's about to cross the line now, and an improvement for him, 9/10. We've seen him spin last laps. That may have been more, but he lost all the speed coming through that final corner. So let's see if he's up this time at 9/10. Brings him a bit closer to Keegs, who's still sitting in the pit lane. And Dean's round wide at turn 1. Swimfins, he's coming up to the final corner. Can he improve on his lap time? Keegs still sitting in the pits. So to say he's struggling, he needs that track time and he's not getting it. And Swimfins does improve, goes 3.5 seconds quicker, still 22 seconds off the pace, but getting it more improvements in now. The track may be dry, and Big Boy Brazier's back out on the circuit. Gary, though, he's about to finish another lap. Can he get any closer to his brother? Can he get any closer to the two Lamborghinis out front here? As Gary's going to cross the line now and goes 2.9 seconds quicker. It's good enough for third. It's not good enough. He needs a 10th from somewhere to gain on Deeks then. Little Leach will be the next person to set a lap time. Let's see if he's up any. Will he re-overtake his brother on the standings, his teammate? Comes down the start line now, does Little Leach, and crosses the line 2.4 seconds quicker. And that's 7/10 behind Big Boy Brazier now. Good enough for second on the track. Who's the next car to cross the line? It's not the Stealth Sloth. Quite sure who it is. Is it Deeks? It is. It's Deeks who's going to set the next lap time. So clearly got in front of a few of the guys. Really getting the laps in now is Deeks. And is he going to improve any? No, not this time around. Welshie then will be next along with Cam. So let's see if Welshie can improve first of all. Just slightly in front of Cam. Any improvement here to gain on the front runners? 1.7 improvement for Welshie, and a good improvement from Cam as well to take him into 7th. The Stealth Sloth now rounds the final corner. Is there any improvement from him here? No, down on his time. So the next man, no, Dean's in the pit, so he's obviously called that time. Track's still very wet. Swimfins then, someone's coming up to that last corner now. Is that Big Boy Brazier? It is. And next man will cross the line will be Swimfins.
I'm taking a gamble.
It's too wet for dries, Dean, if that's what you're gambling.
No, we're loose.
Oh, okay. Loose on the setup. Big Boy Brazier's improved by 2.1. So the track is getting better as he's gone 2.1 seconds quicker. Dean just in front then out on track on an out lap. Keeg still sat in the pits. So let's see Swimfins come over the line, and he improves by 5.1 seconds. Currently 19 now off the leader, 2 seconds behind Stealth Sloth. Good lap time there for him. Gary's crossed the line and goes second, 2.5 off the leader then. What can Little Leach do? Deeks is in the pits.
Oh dear.
Oh dear from Dean must mean that he's span as Little Leach crosses the line, and no improvement this time around. Next car to do a lap will be Welshie, and he looked like it said he was down on his sector time there. That could have been Little Leach's time still on top. I think it was. So let's see what Welshie's going to do across the line. Cam looks like he's had a spin behind him. His dot stopped on the mini-map, and we've not seen him coming. It's starting to go now as the Stealth Sloth, I think, is the next car down that will set a lap after Welshie. But round in the final corner, and the track's slowly drying, but then you get to that big puddle that's mid-corner. And is Welshie going to improve any here? He does, half a second. Takes him a bit closer to Deeks. What about the Stealth Sloth? Currently 9 seconds off the pace. Needs a good lap here to improve. We've seen Cam make a mistake, so he's not going to improve any. And the Stealth Sloth goes 5.5 seconds quicker ahead of his teammate, and only 0.3 off of Deeks, so a heck of a time there from him. There's Swim Fins. It's Big Boy Brazy who's going to come around next and do another lap time. So is he going to improve even more? No, a 10th down this lap. The next one's not going to be Gary. I think it'll be Dean, but Dean will be starting a lap because he's not yet crossed the line. Massive puddle in the air. Dean off the throttle on the car there as he goes through the puddle. Flat out down the straight though. As the Speedo says here, into 5th. Brakes hard in the Acura. Not quite full brake. And then ease on the throttle. Nice and easy. Bit more brake as he runs wider than he'd have liked to there. So that's unfortunate for Dean. Let's jump back to Gary as he comes round the final corner. Is he going to improve any and close that gap even more? Yes, he does. Gains an extra second, so he's only 1.4. Pretty much a second and a half off the leader then. Little Leach, he's not setting a lap time yet. Who's that crossing the line? Is that Deeks? No. Swimfins comes across the line and finds an extra half a second, so he's only 18 and a half off the leader now. So getting quicker every lap, Swimfins does at the minute. Good improvements from him. Deeks is back out on track. I don't think he's yet currently on a lap. Cam and Keegs in the pits. Keegs has been in the pits a long time. He's only done 4 laps here. Deeks, who was last out the pits, missed a couple of laps. He's done 5. Dean Wasaki's on 6. Little Leach is on 7. And then everybody else, Big Boy Brazier, Gary, Stealth Sloth, Welshie and Swimfins have all done 8 laps. Just over 7 minutes remaining here. As Deeks just crosses the line to start his next lap then. The next car to set a time will be the Stealth Sloth. Now, he's got the wipers on, but I don't think it's raining. The spray is getting less until you hit that big puddle there. That's where the problem lies, in the big puddle. And he's going to cross the line and there's no improvement for him. Little Leach is round, so he's not going to improve neither. What about Welshie and Cam? They're not near the start line. Big Boy Brazy is going to finish his lap here. And improves by 0.05 of a second to do a 2:09.1. So increases that gap to a second and a half now to Gary. Kaylee Elwin in chat says, come on Big Boy Brazy with a love. Oh, that's nice to see. Fans of the drivers, young love. Welshie coming around the final corner here. He's got Dean Wasaki just behind him. So what can Welshie do? He's going to call it into the pits. So Dean Wasaki then, he's going to come down the start straight now. And is there any improvement here? 4.5 seconds down. So no improvement from him. Swimfins coming up on the uphill section here. Not quite sure who that is on the back part of the track. Gary's also in the pits. Now, is he pitting for dry tyres? Not sure. Welshie may just be pitting because the fuel's dropped under 20%. Or 20 litres, should I say. We know that's a problem with the Lamborghini that he's figured out. Swimfinzen is coming over the start line now. And only a second, 1.8 down on his time. Dean gone through the first sector. Cam's about to cross the line here. Crosses the line, no improvement. Gary, is that a thumbs up because you're on the dry tyre? Is that what you're saying? See if he comments in the chat. It's a thumbs up in the chat. Who's next to cross the line? It's Deeks. Any improvement from him? He goes 1.6 quicker and has put it 2 tenths behind Gary into 3rd and ahead of Little Leach by 1.2 seconds. So a heck of a lap there. Stealth Sloth across the grass, so that's not where he wants to be. Dean coming around towards sector 2, but Big Boy Brazy will be the next person to set a lap time. Big Boy Brazy then coming into the pits. He's decided to abandon that lap. Little Leach has had a spin. Stealth Sloth is coming into the pits. So Dean will set then the next respectable lap time. Oh, and he's round as well, so that's not going to be a good time for him. Swimfins then will be the next person we'll watch to set a lap. As always, wide as well. Unfortunately for him there, track looks like it's slowly drying. The spray is pretty much non-existent now.
It's drying now.
It's just that big puddle. So is it dry enough for dries with 4 minutes remaining? It could be a full wet tyre race. The gamble might not be the best thing. So Swinfin's after spinning. Let's see what Cam can do. Swinfin's off again there. So is Cam up through sector 2? No time coming up, so must be on an out lap. Who's behind Cam? It's not the Stowe Slough. Well, she's behind him, but not close to him. You know, Swinfin's, Little Leach and Keegs in the pit centre. Keegs just not getting the times in here. They'd have probably wanted to get in. Stowe Slough and Big Boy Brazier on 10 laps apiece at the moment. Oh, Cam's round, and who's that? Is it? That's Gary. He's clattered with there. Big damage maybe for Gary then. I think he was trying to dry the slicks. And that's not going to help his chances there. Probably going to pit for a repair. Welsh's lost it coming through the last corner. Dean's just coming through sector 1. Nobody really coming towards the end of a lap. Let's just check. Big Boy Brazier. No. Deeks has crossed the line, but it's slower. Welsh we saw spin. Where's the Stowe Slough? He's on the beginning of his lap as well, so let's jump on board with Dean. Bit wider there. Bit on the brakes, easy on the throttle. Just off the accelerator there, and then backs on the power now. As we've lost Keegs from the session. Dean just a bit wider than he'd have liked through there as well. Really not setting the pace, Keegs, that we have expected him to really sort of set. Big Boy Brazier has set the way here. Dean 2 seconds up on his current time. That will be good enough to put him up one place ahead of Cam. Oh, and he's lost it all coming through the chicane. So let's jump back on board with Big Boy Brazier, who's about to finish his lap. The only really troublesome part of the track is that last bit where Big Boy Brazier's gone wide through the puddle then. What about Stowe Slough? He's took it alright. And he's going to cross the line now and doesn't improve any at all. Everybody out there is on track. So let's see what these guys can do. Who's this coming to cross? Deeks is in the gravel at the moment. Dean's just about to finish his lap. Oh, and he's wide. He's off at the chicane as well. Curb's being wet. That's the problem. Where's Gary? He's about to start a lap. Deeks spinning around again. There's Little Leach. Close to. Couldn't quite tell you. Close to Swinfin's. Welsh is about to finish a lap. So let's check his lap out then. See what Welsh is capable of as it's through the puddle. That puddle at the end, that's really the troublesome part at the moment. And Welsh goes 1.7 quicker. That's good enough to take him in front of Little Leach there. But we're on with Little Leach now, so let's see what he can do. Not sure if he's up any on his time or not, but we'll see if he can improve either way through that final puddle, which is the really bad part of the track. Swinfin's just behind. Is Little Leach up on his time? No, he's probably just going to start one. What about Swinfin's this time round? Can he improve? He does 2.8 seconds quicker, so only 15 off the pace. And just 8 seconds behind Dean Wasaki then. Who's the next car on track that's just coming through sector 2? That's Deeks wide. Gary just coming through. It's Cam that will be the next person to set a lap time, so let's see Cam's lap here. See the end of it. Coming into the final 2 corners now does Cam, as the practice session is complete. So is Cam going to improve on his final time then? Oh, losing that rear end, manages to keep it there. Does he improve on his time as he's going to cross the line? No, he doesn't. What about Gary? No improvement from him neither. Someone has just crossed the line. I think that's Deeks. He's no, Deeks in the pit. Stowe Slough then crosses the line. No improvement from him. Dean Wasaki is also in the pits. There's Little Leach. Big Boy Brazier, his time is done. So I do believe Welshie then will be the next one to complete his lap. You heard from Dean there that he hit a tyre. 8 seconds off the pace, Dean. Not what you're wanting there, mate.
Definitely not now.
Especially being in the pro category, to be slower than a few pro-am guys. That's definitely not what you're wanting.
No, think a bit out of practice.
Welshie then rounding the final 2 corners here. Gary couldn't get a lapping, he had to pit for repairs, he says. But here comes Welshie now then, down the final straight, at the start straight, and finishes the session. Everybody else had done. So Big Boy Brazier tops the times yet again, 1.1 ahead of Welshie, who in the end did take 2nd place from Gary. Deke's getting a good 4th place for him, he'll be happy with that, with Stealth Sloth getting 5th, Little Leach in 6th, with Cam 7th, Dean Wasocki 8th, Swinfin's 9th. We lost Keegs, who was running mid-pack. Big Boy Brazier said he went quicker on the last lap as well, so even more time. So for the final time tonight, and in the dry, in the sunshine of Bruno, Big Boy Brazier will start on pole from Little Leach 2nd, Gary 3rd, Deeks 4th with Stealth Sloth 5th, Welshie 6th, Swinfin's in 7th, Cam 8th, and Dean Wasocki in 9th place for the final little fun race of the evening. So let's see what can happen here as we just wait for the drivers to ready up. Chance to just get 3 more laps of practicing just to learn the track, even though the weather's not the same weather it will be. The reverse race, Dean, the 2nd race of the night at Bruno, may prove easier with it being fog into fog with rain.
Yeah.
The rain coming at the end may prove to be a bit easier, eh?
I think it will, yeah.
So we're just waiting. Sorry, go on.
I think after this practice session, I think I'll be doing a bit of practice sessioning myself.
Are you with us tomorrow night?
Yes.
Yeah, with us tomorrow night. That's what we want. Join us tomorrow night then, 8 o'clock as well, on the SimPlay Motorsport channel. We'll be live. Same 3 tracks, same weather conditions, just different drivers or the same guys if they want to turn up and do some more practicing. We're all ready then and set here for the race. Final race of the evening. And it's lights out and away we go. It's a heck of a start from Deeks on the 2nd row. I saw there. But here comes Little Leach and Gary charging down with Big Boy Brazier. Can they make a move? Swinfins didn't get the best of starts. He's already well in the background. And the Leach Motorsport guys side by side are pretty much sandwiched Deeks. Welshie's managed to get through as well. But here comes Big Boy Brazier still out in front. Got the Leach Motorsport Porsches just behind. It's Gary in the blue. It's Little Leach in the green. Into turn 3. And Gary sending one up the inside of Big Boy Brazier, but can't get it stuck. And both Porsches synchronised spinning around there. Deeks went as well. I think Stealth Sloth had a bit of a spin at the same point. That's allowed Dean Wasocki and Cam up a few places. But I tell you what, the Porsches was like they was in sync. Both losing it at the same part of the track as Gary looked like he was making a move on Big Boy Brazier. Back then for 2nd place, Welshie is well in front of now Dean Wasocki, who's got Little Leach all over the back of him. And this could be a battle you'll see in the pro group this season, with Dean Wasocki holding off Little Leach at the moment. That Porsche rear end all over the place. As of yet, you see Gary and Cam having a battle, and Little Leach just tapping the back of Dean there into the tyres, and Little Leach has spun round. Stealth Sloth will get into 4th, and Little Leach is dropping down the order here. Swinfin's currently only 11 seconds off the pace and has passed Cam and Little Leach. Cam must have had a problem as well, but Dean now sits 3rd. Stealth Sloth in 4th with Gary chasing hard, 9 tenths behind him. Deeks in 6th after his 3rd corner spin. Oh, and he's lost it there in the dry as well. Swinfin's up to 7th, he's off. Little Leach is now back up to 7th. Where's Cam? Cam's also off at the same place as well, so Little Leach back up to 7th. Dean must have had a problem. Looks like he's had a spin as he's lost out to the Stealth Sloth, and Gary as well clips the tyres here. That's not going to do the car any good. But the Stealth Sloth and Gary battling it out on track. Dean trying to keep with these boys as he recovers from a bit of a mistake. Oh, Stealth Sloth very wide on the grass, and round he goes. And Dean manages to avoid him, so does Gary then. So Dean back into 4th. Little Leach has got past for 5th. Can pass the Stealth Sloth for 6th place. No, he can't. Little Leach has lost it at the same port where Stealth Sloth lost it, so he's down into 7th. Deeks on the back of this little quartet, should I say. Quartet, is that the right word? I think so. Little Each looking to send one on Cam into turn 1, and the experience of Little Each. No, Cam's managed to close the door. The Lamborghini's done very well there. Big Boy Brazier 4.5 seconds out in front, but Welshie trying to keep the pace with him. Swimfins is in the pits. Dean trying to keep with Gary as Little Each now looks to make the move on Cam and has done well there. Now he's got to try and catch Stealth Sloth. So at the minute we've got a Gusset and Trussit Motorsport car on the podium again with an MC Motorsport. Chris had a few podiums tonight. Gary, he'll want another strong finish on the podium for Leach Motorsport. And can Dean, team name to be decided yet, can he get that car up there as well?
Oh yeah.
We've lost a runner from the race.
Cam.
Yeah, we've lost Cam. Cam then has retired. And Deeks has passed Little Each here, so Little Each can't get on the back of Stealth Sloth. Possibly a bit of damage on that car as Deeks has gone onto the grass, and Little Each should come back past Deeks here then. We wonder if the damage on Little Each's car is a bit too hot to handle at the moment. Welshie must have made a mistake. He's dropped well off the back of Big Boy Brazier and has got Gary charging him down.
I got severe damage to my car.
Oh, there you go, Dean, severe damage. So obviously another incident for Dean. Welshie and Gary then coming on, start the last lap of this race. Big Boy Brazier is already on it. He's well out in front. Can Gary gain on this Lamborghini? Welshie will try and hold him there all he can. Gary going to use all his experience and all his championship wins that he's got under him in previous series to his advantage. He's really on the back of Welshie here, and Welshie's gone defensive early at the moment. And Welshie probably a bit too deep into turn 3, and Gary up the inside, and they touch, and Welshie's off and round. I don't think he's going to be too bad. Dean is only just coming up to turn 3 now. So Welshie, I reckon, will be going. Yeah, Welshie is going then. But Dean just tapped him. Gary just tapped him, sorry, there. Dean nearly gains the place. Oh, Gary's slowing down. Is he going to let Welshie have that place back? Oh, that's good sportsmanship from Gary there, that is. Stealth Sloth looks like he's had a moment as Little Each has managed to get past him. Big Boy Brazier well out in front. Let's just look at this battle between Gary and Welshie. Good sportsmanship there from Gary to let Welshie have it back. It's only a fun race. It doesn't really mean anything, but nice of Gary there to let him have the place back. Any more incidents like that, and you saw Dean a bit closer in the background. As Welshie's very, very, very wide there. Comes back across. And Gary now in front with ease. You see Dean was hockey in the background, so an instant between these two again. Dean could end up nicking a second place here as Gary on the throttle, and round he goes. And does that catch Welshie out? Yes, it does. He's tapped him. Now where's Dean? Can Dean gain a place on the final lap? He has indeed. Big Boy Brazier rounding the final corner here then. He's going to take another win tonight. It's been a great drive from him. 3 quickest in practice sessions and wins here. Where's Welshie? There he is. Dean all sideways in the background. And that's possibly let Gary back through. It has indeed. Oh, he's threw the podium away at the very end. He's still got 2 corners to go. So can he hang on? He's got the Stealth Sloth all over the back of him though. Dean's not even in the background picture now of Welshie. So here comes Welshie in the MC Motorsport mobile. Flash of the lights, he's going to take second place. Gary's going to come home third. Has Dean done enough to hold up off the Stealth Sloth? He has indeed. So a flash of lights from Dean for 4th. Stealth Sloth gets 5th. Here comes Little Each in what I must say is a Porsche that's needing some bodywork repaired on that. He's going to come across the line for 6th place. Deeks looks like he's hit the tyres. He's going to round the final corner for P8. And then we just await Swimfins to cross the line here. Cam disconnected, so he didn't retire, he disconnected from that session.
Nice bit of practice there.
So Swimfins is coming into the final 2 corners. I'll be waiting just a second. Swimfins comes in the final 2 corners. Nice for him to get a few laps under his belt as well. A few more laps of practice. Teammate Alfie Noria tonight. Submitting the Porsche Felice Motorsport. Oh, we'll put that in the group, Gary, with car numbers, team name and everything. But Big Boy Brazy has got the win from Welshie Gary Dean, who could have had the podium on the last lap, didn't get it. Stovsloth, Little Leach, Deeks, and then Swimfins brings up the rear. So I'm just going to get Gary in, and then we'll get a word from you and him. Let's get Welshie as well. Let's have a word from Welshie. See what these lads are saying. So while we wait then, Dean, obviously a good bit of practice for yourself.
Yeah.
More needed though?
100% need more.
Evening, Chris. Good little podium there at the end. Got the laps under your belt tonight. Sorry, go on.
I was quite surprised with the pace of the Porsche, actually. That keeps up with the Lambo. Yeah.
Is that you've commented on the stream saying that that's the one that you're submitting? Then is that a definite?
Yeah, that's a definite, mate. Yep.
So was the car last night you was on about the Audi?
You tried it weren't that great, to be fair, and that was alright in the wet, but I couldn't get it to stick in the dry very well.
Fair enough. Plenty of laps for you guys under your belt going forward to the season. Gary, you looking to win it?
No, I'm looking to do as well as I can, but I was quite surprised with the pace of the Porsche, actually, to be fair. It seemed to keep up with the Lamborghini, so we'll take it.
Chris, you've obviously got Jamie Brazier in your group. That's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, he's extremely fast, you know. Trying everything we could possibly do, but yeah, you just get pulling away no matter what.
Keegs,
so, yeah.
not the best night for young Keegs tonight.
No, like I say, I could hear him in the party. He was a bit annoyed with a few things. He was making a few mistakes, and then he was having a few incidents. But yeah, hopefully it's a better night tomorrow, and we could see how we get on with it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, join us all tomorrow night for those who's here. But from all of us here at SimPlay Motorsport, thank you and good night.